Oh, no. Good morning. All right. How are we doing today? You're just tuning in. Our show is going to start in 10 minutes. Do a little warm up, little housekeeping, making sure that everything is all set up. So if you're used to seeing Lori, she'll be back tomorrow. A few days off. She sent some videos of her enjoying her little mini vacation. Looks like a blast. I should try that one day. I really had a vacation to think of for a long time. But I'm also not the type of person who can sit still for too long. I need to be engaged in something. All right, we got a few minutes before we start, like I said. So I'm going to get the old voice box, the old brain warmed up, and I see we have a couple of requests. Carlos, you want to look at APTTUSDT? That is a tongue twister of a ticker. We'll see what that looks like. AP. Oh no, we're already messing this up. APT. There's a D in there somewhere. No? Okay, USDT. There we go. AP. That looks correct. I'm going to go with Binance. Because why not? All right. Weekly time frame doesn't give us a lot to offer, nor does the daily because of this big old janky bar up here. So that means we're really going to be looking at this block of action because we've done a lot of cool stuff up until that point, but this is what we're concerned about because we're seeing this pretty big fade. We've dropped, well, what is that? 10% from our 10% from zero. I'm not going to do the actual math because that is not what I'm good at. I am not a math guy. What we do have is this daily downtrend, and that's really what we got to be concerned about if we are looking at a long position. We keep knocking out these little supports, and we have a real lack of support back down to this former area resistance, which is about $8.86. So we have to ask ourselves, what is the rationale? Is there any technical reason for us to be expecting any sort of change in the short term? And from the daily perspective, no. We don't have enough weekly data to say, look, we're looking for a weekly high or low. This is a janky bar. We haven't established a weekly trend yet. We have a higher high, cool, but nothing really else. The daily time frame is working against us as well. So, lack of data on the weekly. Daily's down. 4-hour time frame is down. Market sentiment is down. And we really only have this 1062 area of support. So the likelihood of us forming a higher low here and just bouncing right back up is low. We've already fallen through this 1071. We've come down to test that level now. So there may be some dumpster diving that we can do on the 5-minute time frame or intraday to try and find little upticks. There are certainly green days, but the overwhelming fact is that this trend is against you. Hourly is down, 4 hours down. There's not a lot here for you. So as we look at our RSI, we can see that it is forming a trend indicator for us. And one of the ways we can use RSI, oh boy, it's going to be a rough morning, is when we get into a long protracted downtrend, we do this generally, right? Our RSI does that same thing except sideways. And what we can do is when we get near areas of oversold condition, we can look at those as trough lows. So we are closing in on oversold conditions on the hourly time frame. Should we dip below 1062, we would look for that oversold bounce, that trend low on our RSI to act as an indicator of trough low, and then look for a little bit of a bounce. And that's really the only thing that I see. Hourly time frame is not your friend. There's a bit of bounce potential, but everything else is working against you and does not like your life decisions. 50-minute oversold bounce, cool. EMA 12 would be the target for that. 5-minute time frame downtrend. So based on this weak bounce so far, we're going to look for rejection in the EMA 12 on the 5, potentially a higher low on the 5, move up to EMA 12 on the 15, and then back down under 1062 would be my best guess. Mary Camp, you have another grandkid? I can't wait. I miss my babies. I got 2 of my own, and I got a whole whack of stepkids, but I only had 2 of my own babies. And they, of course, grew up in like 10 seconds. So they are old enough now to be learning to bother me. But I do miss them, so I can't wait for grandkids. It sounds a lot of fun. Congratulations. How many do you have? All right, we got 5 minutes left. We're going to do a few more ticker requests, so we'll get into it. My mic is open. I hope so. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, I saw that. But I've learned long ago, I've have a fear, sort of unfounded, of leaving streams going. And it's happened to me a couple times. But generally, I'm a quiet person and I don't get up to any shady business. So it's never really been a problem. But I appreciate you telling me the mic's hot. Mostly you probably hear me chuckling or making little whistle noises or something. Link? Sure, buddy. Now, you want to look at Link or the USD coin Link? I'm going to go with Link because I've never looked at this one before. All right. I like these. I call these chunky traders. Now, looking at the daily time frame, I don't think this is what you want to trade. I would be surprised. Why? Look at the weekly. It's just gross. There's really not much reason for an investor to be in this unless you know something I don't, or a day trader. So I'm going to pull the plug on it, and I'm going to go look at Link USDT. Let's go perpetual contracts. Link USD. How do we do that now? Chainlink. There we go. I'm assuming it's this one, and I'm going to quickly check to see if you... Yeah, all right. We're on the same page, buddy. All right, weekly time frame. Do a little checklist. Weekly, down. Correction. Weekly, up. Okay. Weekly's up. We've moved down quite a ways now, so it increases the likelihood of a lower high on any attempt, but the weekly is up. The daily time frame is down. So here's our weekly high. We're more likely to see a lower high on the weekly and then some sort of balance into trend neutrality. But what we are looking for is a higher low over 640, 643. Again, same concept that we just looked at on APT. We're in a daily downtrend until that changes. We are bearish. So up weekly, down daily. We're in conflict. 4-hour time frame is down. And I like the fact that we have pushed below the 670 area and pushed back up. We did something similar in Bitcoin. We marked that out with this big, ugly rectangle of lackadaisical action. But my wish was fulfilled and we broke to the downside. Well, my wish was we get out of that lackadaisical nature. However, 4-hour time frame for our link still within this range, a 4-hour downtrend. So we have to follow the sentiment. We are down daily. We are down 4-hour. We are scouting for a 4-hour trend change at this point. I don't really believe the bulls on the hourly time frame. Our pop up faded. We did not establish a higher low, and we just resumed the hourly downtrend. So I want to see an hourly higher low. I want to see an hourly trend change that matters, and it's going to matter by setting a 4-hour higher low above, at this point, $6.72. If we can pull that off, then we look a little bit more optimistically at trying to form that weekly higher low. But we have a lot of work to do to pull that off. Okay. All right, my friends, we are going to be starting the real show. Lord has appeared. Yeah. Okay. All right, we're going to start the show in like 1 minute. So I have limited time for ticker requests. The purpose of the pregame show is for us to review what the market is doing, get you ready for action overall. If you like chart requests and you want more chart requests, that's what we do in the Chart Guys all day. As soon as I'm done the stream, Dan's going to be live. He's going to be going for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. Then someone else is live again at lunch or 9 a.m. Pacific time. And then we're live again in a Zoom call. And then we're live again at the end of the day. And all we do is chew through tickers and monitor and watch and share. So if that's what you want, I got you. I just don't have time to do it in the pregame show. You know what I mean? Okay. All right, let's get started. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the pregame show. This is March 8th. My name is Jason. I'm a partner, co-founder of the Chart Guys. We made it 1,000 years ago, and we're still going strong. And it's been a complete roller coaster of fun. If you want to see a little bit more of me when I'm not doing the pregame show, you can follow me on Twitter. I have neglected it since 2017, and I'm now trying to rejuvenate it. So I appreciate you guys. I've gained quite a bit of following in like the last 2 days just doing the pregame show. So I appreciate you guys jumping on board with me. And I look forward to hopefully filling in for Lori again in the future. Today will be my last day. She'll be back tomorrow and doing a regular programming. And you can find me in the midday show. I also do a weekly wrap-up on Fridays. So that will be on the channel that you're watching now, and that is Friday. I'll be doing it next. Would you believe I'll be doing it on Friday, the 10th. So right at the end of the day, last hour of the day, we will be reviewing swing setups, getting a market wrap up, and getting ready for the next week, okay? All right. Just making sure it's all good. Okay, cool. All right, my friends, let's get into it. What we have done yesterday was, well, we dealt with Jerome Powell. And Jerome Powell said, I don't even like bulls anymore. I'm a big fan of large forest mammals. And we ended up having a pretty bearish day. So the interesting thing is Powell is speaking again today. Remember, TradingView has this cool indicator right here, economic calendar. And it's going to tell us that there is a few more things happening. And Mr. Powell is speaking again today at 7 a.m. Pacific time. So in about an hour and a half. I don't think it's going to matter as much today. I don't think he's going to have any crazy volatility based on, it's unlikely he's completely pivoted his opinion, right? So it's unlikely to have much significance. We do have a beige book coming out, and there's a bunch of other data here. You can filter important data and unimportant data. Bank of Canada interest rate decision expected to be nothing because they've told us they're on a pause. And because, and this is interesting stuff for you armchair economists like myself, U.S. rates up or projected to go up, Canada not. Look at the difference here in the U.S. dollar to the Canadian dollar. Big divergence breaking out of this weekly equilibrium. So just because Canadian dollar is at a pause, it's because the Canadian interest rate is paused and the U.S. is not, we're getting this divergence. So pretty interesting stuff. If you like the Forex, that's important information to know about. Okay, so Powell, beige book, a couple economic events happening. Let's get into our indices. Oh no. I had all these fancy levels for you guys. There's YM. Maybe it's on the, there we go. Good. Daily chart. All right, my friends. So take a screenshot or write these down if you want. If you're on YouTube, you can always go back and grab them. What I've done is taken a look at our major supports and resistances. The hourly time frames might be different now because I did this about an hour ago. So take that into account. And as Lori always says, all of this information is old by the time we're done with this video. So what we're looking at is speculative. We are just trying to get ready for the day and guesstimate what the most likely scenarios are going to be. And that is entirely what trading is. We are looking at what the most likely outcome in a given situation is, looking for evidence of that outcome, starting, placing a bet, and then scaling in or out of our trades based on that movement. It's a fine dance we're doing. Could I continue to do the mornings? I would love to do the mornings, but I watch Lori's show and I don't want to get up at 3:30 a.m. like she does. She's a machine and I just don't have what it takes. I do the midday show. I'm thinking about doing a public midday show. It is fun. I do enjoy streaming. All right. Different strokes for different folks. For every person who likes me, I will find 15 who like Lori. So I appreciate your comments, but Lori does a great job. ES, daily time frame. We are looking for daily high or low. So despite the bears' big show of presence yesterday, we are looking for a daily high or low here. That is the most likely outcome. So we are sort of trend neutral right now, setting a daily low and a higher high, possibility of a higher low. So then we go to the 4-hour time frame and say, how do we look, sir? We don't look all that grand. So we have pulled back pretty much to the 50% mark. And this is a one point in time I like to use my little Phoebe tools. Oh, you can see how often I use these guys. There they are. I go right about here and I say, have we pulled back more than 50%? We have. We're not incredibly far beyond the 50%, but the fact is we dropped and now we are in this big 4-hour bear flag type pattern. So when you get into a bear flag pattern, what that says is you've had a significant amount of downside and now you're pausing. So we have to give the bulls an opportunity, and this is the opportunity they have because bears are taking a break, and this is probably going to apply to most of the charts we're going to see today, at least the indices. So I'm just going to spend a little bit of time on the ES version. Bears down, big volume down, bears take a break, bulls are able to climb because of the absence of the bears. If the bears decide to pour the juice back on, we can see another move all the way down to this area of support because bear flags generally have 3 phases where they have a big break, a flag, and then a big break. And the typical textbook bear flag says the third phase is roughly the same size as the first phase until you run into an obstacle, and we don't have many obstacles in our way. So there is some good downside potential here. So I'd be looking longer term bearish, positioning myself for potential upside in the short term, but I'm keeping this in mind, looking for daily high or low, knowing we're in a bear flag, knowing that our time frames are in conflict. Okay. Going to the ES hourly time frame. What I do like to see on the hourly time frame is the fact that we have dipped back down to this low, 39.82, and it's clear that there is still some buying pressure here. So one of the ways we can look at lower wicks is to imagine that there's a block of interest. Clearly, when we drop down to this level, we stopped here for a reason. And that's because either, depending how you look at it, and I like to look at it as an army of robots. I have a lot of weird analogies. You're just going to have to get used to it. A big army of robots. Whatever happened, something turned on at 39.8250 and started to cause more buying in the face of a pretty cascading bearish attack. So what I want to know is, if we dip back to that level, is there still some buying pressure here? And there is. We saw our price dip back down. We came back up. We dipped again. We came back up. So as long as we're defending this level, this is good for the bulls. What we want to see in a bear flag is higher highs and higher lows. The fact that we got a lower low here is actually better for the bulls. Maybe double bottom. But there is buying pressure, so that's good. As long as we can maintain that buying pressure, we're able to stabilize and build a base of support from which we can attempt to make a bull move and establish higher lows. So right now, I'm pretty neutral. I want to see what the bulls are going to do with this opportunity. So we have to keep all of our time frames in mind. That's why having a few screens, or a few, I should say, a few windows, you can do this with TradingView as well, to watch what you're doing and get an idea of your daily and your higher lows and remember what the context is because you can get really lost in the weeds if you get into the 5 and 15, or I even see some people trading in the 5-second time frame. Okay, as long as we maintain buying pressure, this is good for the bulls. What I would like to see here on the 4-hour time frame is a move back up into the EMA 12, because we have dropped quite a bit of range down here. We have some good buying opportunity in these areas where it has been dedicated selling. So we'd like to see the bulls come back up there and balance that downside only volume out. All right, so that is that. Let's go look at the NQ. Here's your NQ levels. Screenshot that or jump back to grab them if you want. Daily time frame similar. We're looking for daily higher lows. We're right at our EMA 26 and holding. We like the fact that we have that much room. On the 4-hour time frame, we're not looking very bear flaggy here. And again, we're seeing lows buying, and again, lows buying. So that's good for the bulls as long as we can maintain that level. We want to stay over that and continue to prove that there is some buy-side interest in our little buddy here. On the 4-hour time frame for the Nasdaq, look how much room we've got in between this area of support and then this area of interest. Excuse me. So we can draw it like this. Okay, let's top of the green line here. That's pretty much like, imagine that like a gap of just an opportunity gap. We haven't really spent a lot of time in that range. So I could foresee the bulls pushing the price back up into that range, trying to explore that a little bit before setting a 4-hour lower high. And that is the most likely outcome given the fact that we have pulled from this 4-hour support to that high, and we're probably down in like, well, a pretty significant retrace level. Let's get that Fibby back out. Yeah, we're well below the 50% mark. So short-term opportunity on the 4-hour time frame. And if we can get that and get a higher low, then we have some building blocks in place for a daily higher low. Pretty optimistic at this point. So keeping an eye on those two areas of conflict, we need our support to be maintained and established on NQ and ES. Not forgetting that we have some bear flag vibes happening. The YM, here are those levels for you. Daily time frame, also trying to find a daily higher low. 4-hour time frame, also looking a little bit bear flaggy. And on the hourly time frame, we saw what should have been our bear flag attack. So I like the fact that we broke our 3280, almost a double bottom, 32,840. Close, bearish attack, denied, pushed again, denied. So buy side interest exists here, and we have a nice little double top. So I'm going to be waiting to see what happens with this sort of direction. And I'm going to be looking for bulls, if they're able to break that 32.938 level, to push back up into these ranges. On the hourly time frame, we have that little area resistance gap between here and here. And in the 4-hour time frame, we got a lot of room to play with. How low does she go if she doesn't get her support payments? First obstacle. That's the easiest way to look at it. Her first obstacle in the bear side for each of these charts is really the 4-hour support. So for NQ, if we have a 4-hour bear flag, we look down to 12,012. So that should have been right there, 4-hour time frame. That's why I look at those. I was looking at like bumper bowling. Okay. If you guys haven't been bumper bowling, you are missing out. I'm sure you have, because most of you are probably some form of adult. But you get those, the ball will continue in the direction until you hit that sweet bumper, and then it moves again until it hits its direction. Really, it's like, in some ways, price behaves like Newtonian physics. An object in motion stays in motion until it has a reason to stop. That reason can be a technical level, it can be a news event, it can be something we don't see or detect. It could just be an algorithmic switch. But what we can see and what technical analysis makes available to us are small insights into the world of trading, like support resistance, like trend lines, like areas of liquidity and lack of liquidity. And we can use those little bits and pieces to get some information. All right, so YWM doing its thing. The Dirty Russell. I like the YWM chart the best for clarity right now. The Dirty Russell is not as friendly. So here are our levels for the Russell. We have a weekly inside bar and a weekly outside bar now. So a lot of instability. You're broken both ranges. Ultimately, I'm watching 1874 on the weekly time frame. We are looking for a weekly higher low still, but we don't see a ton of strength here. If we lose 1874, we have to go back to the weekly time frame and look for our next support, which realistically, I would have to spend some time on the daily figuring out, because 1730 is the next clear one that our pivots are giving us. Daily time frame, I want us to hold this 1874. I'm going to be looking for the 4-hour bulls. I like this little push. This is less bear flaggy. We're starting to ramp up a bit. Volume's increasing. That's good. For a push back up into our EMA 12 range. We are looking for a 4-hour lower high, so short-term opportunity until we get a trend change on the 4-hour to give us the possibility of a daily higher low and holding that weekly area of support. So I think the most clarity today for me is on YWM. And I'm also going to be watching a couple of key charts on our spider sectors. So let's quickly review those. Just making sure all the chats are going. Okay, so XLF got thunder punched right in the throat, and then the bulls were not even getting off the ground, so that was kind of bad for them. XLK is looking for daily higher lows, okay? XLV is looking for daily lower lows, got a bit of support. XLF, look how close we got to that area. I think we got a 1 penny double bottom, so that's going to be really key for us. We have an opportunity to form a base of support because of our higher high and our low and the double bottom. So this is a key chart for me to be watching today. XLY, daily downtrend, looking for support test, higher low possibility, lower low support test, higher low possibility. So there is a lot of opportunity here. The point is I'm looking at XLF to give us the most clarity because we are the closest to a key support level. If we go to XLF here, this is what I'm talking about. We got that big punch in the face yesterday, big fear sell-off. 3501 was the support for March 2nd. We bounced off of that level. We're still above it. So 35 psychological is a big level for us. If we are able to hold that, I'm going to consider that double bottom a good opportunity for a bounce. Then I'm going to be looking for a move back up to 36.26 on the daily time frame. I like the volume. If we lose it, that's a different story. And that's why I think it matters. If we lose our XLF daily support level, then I'm looking for more of those other names to push and gravitate more quickly to their areas of support, and it decreases the likelihood of higher lows on those charts that are looking for higher lows in their daily uptrends. Next support for XLF is 34.56. So going to our hourly time frame, we see that little bear flag play coming into action. We're going to be I want to try to say following and watching at the same time. The ES, so all those little flaggy type actions that we just reviewed. All right, so I know a lot of people are going to be looking at the dollar too. Dollar in the 4-hour time frame, a huge move up into overbought areas. So we have a lot of that very same too quick, too fast, no support action. So we want to establish a support. And we have a big range to do it in. So I would not be surprised to see dollar see a little bit of short-term weakness in this consolidation to give bulls that opportunity in our indices to see that pop back up into their own range. So I'll be hunting some weakness in the dollar today. We have this hourly downtrend. We have a little bit of support right around here. And then we've got our stair-step action there. So if we lose our 105.589 in this hourly downtrend, I will be looking more favorably for our indices to see that little bit of strength. And if we go, where's our ES dollar sign over here? Watching the trends to see who does what first. What I want to see is the dollar break below and give the bulls that opportunity to push back up. Okay, looking for divergences and that inverse relationship for our ES and our dollar. Natural gas. So natural gas is trying to sort itself out. We had that big sell-off on Monday morning. Yesterday, we sort of balanced around. We got ourselves a little spinning top candlestick. Doesn't give us a ton of information. Thus far today, we have a little spinning top candlestick. We are trying to get a daily higher low. And in the 4-hour time frame, we're trying to establish a higher low over $2 and $2.50. I'm just going to focus on the first two digits because the third one breaks my brain. Frankly, I can't handle it, and I don't like it. So it's $2.50. You guys round it out. You worried about it, you round it out. We're looking for a higher low here above $2.50. 15-minute time frames bearish with some bull interest. So looking for a trend change here. If that's the case, then we're looking for a lower high under this near double top. In short, a lot of time frames of conflict on natural gas, and I'll be waiting for the bulls to establish this 4-hour higher low and break over that 260 range in order to get that daily higher low locked, loaded, and for the bulls to try to move back up through this quick drop. Oil got ahead of its daily equilibrium breakout. It got denied pretty hard. So now we are looking for short-term oversold conditions. We got a bit of support down here at 75.88. And we go to our hourly time frame. We can see that we're in a bear flag mode as well with our higher highs. And then, well, you know what? I'm going to call it bear flag mode. TCG support, hourly downtrend, intact. Support 75.88 and 75.80. Too jumbly for me to be playing. And gold fell right through its area of support, continued down, and is looking for a little bit of a bounce. This far, this is a pretty weak bounce on the 4-hour time frame. Daily still has some juice in it. Yeah, I don't see a lot of substance here. Very weak V shape. Haven't really changed the hourly trend yet. Lots of bear volume here. This looks like a descending scallop play to me. A descending scallop play is a it's not a very common one people talk about. I think I might be one of the only ones I know about. But what it is you have a huge drop in price. Price sort of hesitates, moves back up, and then just dumps again. So it's somewhat similar to a bear flag. I always envision it as when you dump. Have you ever poured like something into a cup and it goes right up the other side and then splashes on the counter? Same idea. Lots of energy, and then the gravity just pulls it right down. So that's what I would be cautious about here, especially since we have this hourly expanding range and a lot of downside momentum. Which sector got sucker punched? XLF, man. It got a punch and then like boxed the ears, and it was walking around stunned, trying to figure out what happened. I don't know if that's happened to you before, but it is overwhelming. Not a fan. I don't mind the punches so much. Leave my ears alone. That's just dirty. Okay. What else we got? Bitcoin? Sure. So Bitcoin broke out of its sideways range. We are marking that out. We are now in an hourly downtrend. So that's what's working for us. 4-hour bears, hourly bears, and controlled support, 21.37. We don't really have much reason to believe this is going to change in the short term. Don't see much of a constructive pattern here, and just nice and consistent. So I'll be looking for this to continue until it doesn't. And that's just how it works sometimes. Hourly downtrend right there. Keep an eye on XLE. XLE's had a lot of fun too. It's ready for a daily higher low, and it is one of those sectors that is better for risk off conditions. Tends to do a little bit better. Jobs report. Do you think the market will move more downward as it thinks Powell might do? I have no idea what Powell's going to do. I don't know if the market's going to move downward or upward, but I got to set myself up to recognize what is happening. So none of us have any idea what is going to happen. We just don't. But what we can do is look at short-term windows of data, and we can say, like, let's say we see the price moving up and up and up and up, and we get a ton of volume coming in, and then suddenly we get that move up. we can recognize the move up. Then what we have to do is go and say, all right, well, where's our area of resistance? Where are we likely to slow down again? And then using our little baby time frames, we can try to get an entry that allows us to mitigate our risk by recognizing when that trend of behavior changes. And then we can ride that up and then scale out as we approach where we believe we're going to see some slowdown and locking in some profit on the way. It's that incremental risk in, risk out opportunity that gives us profit while recognizing potential outcomes in the market. Okay. Got no idea. I don't think Powell is going to say much of anything. Okie doke. Thank you, Mike. I also love Laura's show. It's a bit of a different flavor. I appreciate you guys watching if you're used to Laurie's show. I understand we do things a little differently. Well, let's take a peek quickly back at the market, then we will jump ship here and go get ready for Dan's show. He's going to be speaking in about 5 minutes. So ES, chopping about. Still inside this range again, keeping an eye on the support level. We're interested in this long correction. We are open to bull moves as long as we continue to prove our area of support has buy-side interest. And if we are able to get over 4,075, ideally during regular trading hours, when our retail bros can come in, and I'm a retail bro, you're probably a retail bro, are able to come in and try to ride some of that sentiment pushing higher, looking for that resistance check. NQ, same thing. Watching that line in the sand, looking for our retail bros and our retail sisters, because I know there are a ton of you guys out there. And on our RTY. All right, I like YWM for the most clarity. So be watching that one. And then do not forget to watch our dollar and watch our dollar's relationship with ES1. You can watch this very closely on like the 1-5 minute time frames, looking for those baby divergences to what? Give you that one more check mark in your trade analysis workflow to make an entry or exit. All right, that's it. Have a fantastic day. Have a fantastic rest of your week. I will be live on Thursday, midday. Catch me on Twitch. Or on Twitter, I'll be live streaming this too. And then I will be back on Friday for the weekly wrap-up. So Friday afternoon, hour before close. Hopefully I'll see you guys there. Have a great day.